Hello and welcome. We're going to get started in just a moment. We have some participants coming into the Zoom room right now. So we'll give folks just a moment to arrive. Okay, it looks like we have a good group. My name is Mary Beth Petrie. I'm the Dean of Admissions at Lawrence University. I'm also the president-elect of WACAC, who is sponsoring the program today, the Virtual College Exploration Program. So our presenters will get started here in just a moment, but I want to introduce everyone to the Q&A function, which you'll find on your screens. That's how you'll be able to ask questions. You'll note that your camera and microphone are off, and that's great. They can't see you or hear you, but just know that. You'll have to type in any questions. And we'd also love for you to sign up for more sessions. We have more sessions going on throughout the week. You will be able to do that and find a recording of this session and all of our other sessions at wacac.com. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'll turn things over to the other folks.
All right, hi everyone. My name is Carrie Doolin and I am an admissions counselor from the Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design. I'm just getting ready to share my screen with you so we can begin the presentation. And I just want to welcome everyone again. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Carrie, and this is the WACAC panel applying to art programs. I am coming to you from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I am joined by two other admissions representatives from Chicago, Illinois, and Minneapolis, Minnesota. Tonight, we will give you some brief insight about other colleges and provide you with information on how to apply, tips on developing a portfolio, and how to get in touch with us to learn even more about our awesome institutions. I'd like to start off very broad, kind of explaining the differences between the three schools. We have a lot of similarities, but we also have some differences. So we will jump in and just get started there. First off, MIAD is part of the ACAD school system as well as MCAD. Columbia is considered a liberal arts school. All three schools are private and nonprofit schools. ACAD, for those of you who don't know that acronym, it's the Association of Independent Colleges of Art and Design. So ACAD schools are going to be very focused on visual arts, digital arts, while liberal art schools are going to have more of the humanities and the social sciences. So MIAD, again, is an ACAD school. We are fine art and design based. The curriculum is going to be a studio-based curriculum. We do require a visual portfolio as part of the application process. And at MIAD, it's only a 4-year program. So at the end of the 4 years, students receive their Bachelor's of Fine Arts. I'm going to welcome Penny and Scott, our other panelists in this presentation, to give you a little overview about how they fit into the ACAD and the liberal arts construction. Scott, do you want to talk about MCAD first?
Sure. So my name is Scott Hochhalter. I am the Assistant Director of Admissions for the Minneapolis College of Art and Design, or MCAD. My pronouns are he, him, and I have very fond things to say about both programs. However, I really think it's up to you to do your research to find out what is going to suit you the best. As Carrie mentioned, we are part of the ACAD system, and so we also require a portfolio to be admitted to our program. At MCAD, we do have the BFA, but we also have master's students. We do have a Bachelor of Science degree, and we do have Masters of Arts in sustainable design as well. So we do also have liberal arts classes that is part of being accredited and having regional accreditation as well as a NASAD accreditation or the arts accreditation. So that is a big part of you know, the overall 4 years that you would be spending with us. Penny.
Yes, thank you, Scott. So my name is Penny Rasick. I'm an assistant director at Columbia College Chicago. My pronouns are she, her. And as Scott and Carrie mentioned, Columbia is a liberal arts college. And so what that means is all of our students, no matter what their major is or what their degree track, they do a strong core of gen ed classes. So our students are required to take math, you're required to take science and social sciences, history and humanities. In total, it's about 42 credit hours of required gen eds, in addition to the classes in your major as well as electives. We offer several different degree tracks. We have a Bachelor of Arts degree, a Bachelor of Fine Arts, Bachelor of Science, a Master's. We have a small graduate program which offers Master of Fine Arts and MA degrees, Master of Arts. The only degree tracks that do require a portfolio or an audition at Columbia is the selective degrees. And those are the BFAs and the MFAs if you eventually want to look into going to grad school. For the BAs, it is not required to audition or to submit a portfolio, but it's strongly encouraged. And at Columbia, we do offer additional scholarships for creative work. So that's a little bit about Columbia and also why we're a little different than the ACAD system regarding liberal arts versus ACAD. And now Carrie's going to talk about her school, but she's also going to give you some portfolio tips if you're planning on applying to a visual arts or fine arts program. And then Scott's going to talk about media arts and give you some tips for applying to media arts programs. And then I'm going to end the presentation with an overview of audition tips for performing arts programs.
Awesome.
Go ahead, Carrie.
Thank you, Penny. So again, I'm from the Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design. We are a small school located in downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We have 923 students who attend MCAD, as we like to call it. Our class sizes are very small. There's a 13:1 student to faculty ratio. That's something that you're going to get when you're looking at all three of our schools, a private nonprofit school. You're going to get that one-on-one class instruction, time with your instructor. So that's something you're going to see. All of our class sizes are fairly small. At MCAD, it's 13:1. We have 300,000 square feet of workspace. The building that MCAD is located in, you can see a picture on the screen there, is actually an old car factory warehouse. So it has this really great raw industrial feel to it, perfect for art making and just a really great blank slate for creating. When you're looking at other ACAD art schools, MCAD has the most square footage per student, which just goes to show how large and expansive our space is. And I think that's really great, you know, for our students that they have all that square footage to be able to make artwork in their studio-based curriculum. Across the street from MCAD, we have loft-style student apartments for our on-campus students. If you're within 45 miles, you do not have to live on campus. If you're outside of 45 miles, you would be living in those gorgeous, fully furnished, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, loft-style apartments in the 3rd Ward. Again, going back to that picture, you can see MCAD is located right on the Milwaukee River. If you were to just, you know, cruise on down that river, you'd end up in Lake Michigan. So we're only a short walk away from Lake Michigan, a short walk away from the Milwaukee Art Museum. Lots of really great things to do and great food, great galleries right nearby. The majors that we offer at MCAD are product design, interior architecture and design, illustration, communication design, and new studio practice. New studio practice is our fine art program. Our majors are based off of the Bauhaus ideas, which is that fine art should support design and design should support fine art. So in all of our majors, you are going to have a very sturdy fine art background, but you're also going to be introduced to the design world. We have a ton of minors that we offer as well, which is great for students who want to customize their education. Those minors are listed below. They include really great programs like digital media production if you want to get into film work, if you want to get into animation. We do have a sustainability minor that's really awesome, especially for our designers who are interested in creating sustainable products. We have natural sciences, writing, art education, and then we have a relationship with Marquette University, which is just down the street from MCAD, located closer to downtown Milwaukee. And that cross-registration program allows our MCAD students to get a minor in business, advertising, psychology, foreign language, and they can also participate in any of their sports or any of their intramurals as well while they're attending school. So that's a really cool thing, that you can get that art experience, but also that larger institution, larger college experience as well if you take part in classes at Marquette. Money Magazine recently named MCAD as the top art and design school in the country for helping low-income students attain upper and middle class jobs. We have a very strong emphasis on making sure that our graduates are ready to enter the job force confidently. We have an 85% job placement within a year of graduation, and your whole senior year is really dedicated to helping our students, with job placement, with building their website, writing their resume, and job searching, and taking the internships that are required out of all of our students and applying that to the real world so they can find a job that they love. So some tips for developing a portfolio. I'm going to focus, like Penny said, on the fine arts side of a portfolio because our program is very much a fine art program as well as a design program. But I want to just start off by saying that a portfolio, is a really scary word, I think, for a lot of students. I remember being an art student and that word really freaked me out. It had a lot of weight to it. And I want to tell you right now that a portfolio is a living body of work. It's not something that should stay the same. It shouldn't be highly curated. It should grow and change as you grow and change as an artist. So don't be afraid to share your portfolio, to share your body of work with admissions counselors like us here tonight, with your teachers, with others that are around you, your parents, your family members, and get feedback, because that's really what is so beneficial when you're looking at trying to narrow down your body of work or your large portfolio into 10 to 15 pieces. Is you want that feedback so you understand what your artwork is communicating to different audiences. So don't get caught up in that word portfolio. Really, understand that it's going to change and grow throughout this year and throughout your entire life as a creative person. So at MCAD, we do require at least 10 images, up to 20 images. I always say the sweet spot is 15. So we look for 10 really strong, well-documented images. Those images will be submitted online. So documenting your work is really important. You want to make sure that your image is cropped really tight. You don't want anything in the background. You don't want to include any matting. You don't want to include any pencils on the side for perspective. You really want to make sure that the lighting is accurate to how the image looks in real life. So if you do have to go in and do some color correction to make sure that there's no glare or anything, you want it to look like how it looks in person. So feel free to do some minor editing, to do some cropping to make sure that we get the best version of your artwork. If you're doing 3D artwork, feel free to take multiple images. So for example, if you are documenting a sculpture that you made, you may want to take a couple photos of that sculpture so we can get a sense of where that sculpture fits into space. If you have questions about submitting a 3D piece of artwork, you may want to, get that artwork over to your admissions counselor sooner rather than later, so they can give you some feedback and make sure that they're understanding everything that's included in that 3D piece of art. Sketchbooks are welcomed. I know at MCAD and from a fine art perspective, we love to see how students come up with their ideas. That just helps us to better understand who you are as a creative person. We want to see your process and how you think about the world around you. So there's multiple ways that you can include a sketchbook in with your portfolio images. One way to do it is just to take some of your favorite images from your sketchbook and create a sketchbook montage, which means just tiling your images on one single, PDF form, one single slide, so we can see them all at one time. So maybe take your top, 12 pieces and tile them so we can see them all at one time. Another thing to do that some students choose to do over just the montage is to do a video piece. So just thumb through your portfolio and kind of slowly show us some of your favorite pieces again that way. We encourage students to include at least one piece from observation. Observational work is super important. It's not, I know, not the most, the funnest thing to do, but it really does show us that you have a technical skill set and that you'll be prepared to enter those first year classes on campus. You ultimately want to play to your strengths. If you do like doing observational work, I would encourage you to continue doing observational work for your portfolio. You don't have to be well-rounded unless if that is your suit. If you think that you work very well in multimedia, then show that off. If you're really good at sculpting or painting, you're going to want to show that off in your portfolio. We want to see your best work and your most current work as well in that visual portfolio when you're submitting it for part of your application. There's three things that I just remind students to keep in the back of their head when they're trying to figure out what images to include. The first thing that we look for in a portfolio from a fine art perspective is that we want to see that technical skill set, and that's why having a work from observation is so important. So show us your technical skill set. If you're not good at photography, don't put photography in your portfolio. If you are good at photography, include that in your portfolio to show off that skill set. The second thing that we look for is content. We want to see content that speaks about your life, that speaks about your story, and that talks about your interests, that sets you apart from all the other portfolios we're seeing. So do things that are individual to you. It's okay to take inspiration from other places. Use it as a jumping off point and show us how far you can take that idea and how far you can be inspired. And then the third thing to consider is ambition. We love ambitious students, so we want to know that your ambition is strong. So you can do that in multiple ways. One way to show ambition in your portfolio is to work in a series. That tells us that you can take an idea and you can process it all the way. So working in a series, not just making one piece of artwork, but making multiple pieces is really beneficial. Working in a community, so working with other people in a collaborative way shows ambition. Making really large work shows ambition. So that's something that's individual to each student, but skill, content, and ambition are three things to kind of think about while you're coming up with your 10 to 15 really strong images. To learn more about MCAD, I would welcome you to visit our information presentation on the 12th. That's coming up here shortly. That'll be a full 45-minute presentation all about MCAD, so you can get an idea of those 5 majors and the minors and student life. So you're more than welcome to RSVP for the information presentation on our MCAD website. You can also join us for our portfolio presentation, which will dive into all of the do's and don'ts of coming up with a portfolio, again, specific to MCAD. So that's on the 14th. We also have a MCAD scholarship portfolio class. So this is something only for high school seniors, where they can sign up for this virtual class on Saturdays. It's an 11-week long class, and it starts at the end of September. Registration is open now. You can register for this scholarship portfolio class peek into the class every Saturday. If you complete that 11-week class, you get a $10,000 scholarship to MCAD, and it gives you that time, that time away from everything else, away from your senior year, that just allows you to sink into portfolio development. So that's a really cool thing to consider if you are looking for some direction, and if you do know that you want to go to an art school, if you are interested in attending MCAD, definitely check out our scholarship portfolio class. I would also encourage you to participate in National Portfolio Day. There is multiple National Portfolio Days that will be happening all fall up through December. You can check out the National Portfolio Day website to see a list of where all of those virtual portfolio days are happening. You can attend as many portfolio days this year as you want because travel is out of the question. So look them up, find a weekend that you're free, and get your work reviewed with a lot of other admissions counselors on that day. Check out summer pre-college programs. MCAD has a really fantastic pre-college program that'll happen next July. I know MCAD and Columbia also have pre-college programs, so check out those if you're not a senior yet. That would be a good thing to do next summer. And then to schedule a time for you and I to connect individually, you can go onto my Calendly page and find a time for us to have a 30-minute one-on-one portfolio review presentation. I can give you a virtual tour of campus. We can just chat about any questions or concerns you have at that time. All of those options can be found on calendly.com/Carrie Doolin. You can also follow us on Instagram. We have an awesome staff who help keep that Instagram up to date. Really great reminders, lots of great work on there. So check out MCAD Admissions on Instagram as well. All right, I'm going to pass it off to Scott. It's time to learn about MCAD.
Thank you, Carrie. So again, I'm Scott. I'm with MCAD. We are a small private nonprofit institution, and we have a building. Our main campus, our main building was built for MCAD with our purposes in mind. So we have some amazing facilities for you to make art. All students are also able to get their own studio spaces their second year once they declare their major. If you would just advance the slide. We have a bunch of facts here, but just going to try to keep it simple. We do offer 14 different areas from fine art to media art as well as design. We have entrepreneurial studies, which is sort of a business meets art. And so people that are creating their own businesses, looking to go into advertising, public relations, marketing, some of those areas as well. Small, about 750 students total. We do also have the MFA program as well as a few other degrees for students. A very small student to faculty ratio, which means that your class sizes are very small. And again, that's what you're getting at a private institution. You do have the opportunity of living on campus. You're not required to, but our dorms are apartment style. So you have your own kitchen and your own bathroom. And we are just south of downtown Minneapolis, close to Uptown. So we're really nestled in a really wonderful arts community, really close to a lot of things. It's really easy to get around. A couple of things that we feel are really important. 44.5% of our graduates do start their own businesses or are self-employed, which compared to only 17% nationally, we feel that's very strong. We are giving you the skills so that you can go out and be a productive artist. A lot of artists are self-employed or working for small businesses. 76 or 3/4 of our alumni are working in their field after they graduate, and that includes a number of different things, but we feel that that's also pretty strong. If you start with us and you find your passion, we're going to help you pursue that after you leave our school. Our tuition is below the national average for art college, and we do award merit scholarships all the way up to $80,000 over the course of 4 years. So really encourage you to check us out. The Twin Cities are on a number of lists for top cities, for fittest city, city where students find work after graduating, all sorts of things. So we are a pretty good city where we have a really good cost of living as well. So you just want to advance the slide. Carrie did a really excellent job of talking about the portfolio, and we have a very similar portfolio requirements. We are looking for 12 to 20 images total. Now, of course, if you are submitting a media art portfolio, if you are more invested in photography, filmmaking, or another similar media arts, maybe you're investigating some of those aspects and still do fine art, we really want to see your technical acuity, which means we want to see what you are doing, how you are challenging yourself, your variety and versatility. So some of the things that you are making that could be a class assignment, but also some of those personal passion projects. We want to see your unique style and personality within your work. And that may sound, you know, like it makes sense, and it should. I think that a portfolio, when it comes down to it, it's really a moment in time. And that's why it can change as you develop. Your portfolio, if I challenged you to put it together today and something 2 months from now, I hope that they would be different. You may have some pieces that are still the same, and some of those pieces may have grown and developed. So what you feel is a final piece now may just be a touch point, may be a starting point for something that you invest in and that you explore even further. So that's some of the kind of general advice. Of course, we want you to really delve into your composition, think about color and value, idea development, and working in a series is very important when you're a media artist. If you are trying to tell a narrative, whether that's through a single image or through multiple images, whether that's through film, is it a documentary piece? Is it more of an emotive piece that really challenges the emotional intellect of a viewer? All of those things are really important, and every person has a unique voice. So we want to see your unique voice within your work. Think about how you document your work, your materials, your craft is how we talk about that. How you are scanning or photographing your images. If you're working in traditional media such as analog film, we have some examples of Polaroid work taken into other work as well. So how are you going to document that work? Is it clear, concise? Does it make sense? We use SlideRoom, and I think a lot of art schools are using SlideRoom as a medium. It's a really great platform for you to upload your work. Also give us details such as the title, dimensions, media, any other thoughts that you have about those pieces. So it's a really great way of kind of filling in any gaps that we may not get from meeting with you personally or seeing your work personally. So think about those aspects of your documentation process as well. Next slide. I think that lighting is very important when you are documenting pieces, whether they're 2D pieces, 3D pieces, you're taking a photograph of something else. Learn to use your camera phone. It can be an iPhone or another phone. They can take really good pictures. They can document your work, but you need to learn how to use them. They have a lot of tools that aren't apparent, and I think you need to delve a little bit in, do a little research. Also crop your images so that they are the view that you want us to get out of your work as well. So edit down your work. You know, I've had somebody submit 500 photographs as a portfolio. This is before we had limits. And that's not okay. It's not for me to go through all your work to find the 12, 20 pieces that are amazing. It's for you to edit down that work. So think about the impact that you are creating in your overall presentation. That can be individual images, but that can also be this narrative that you're leading us through in your portfolio. So MCAD's portfolio, we're looking for 12 to 20 works. We do require one observational drawing no matter what you are planning on going into. So do that. It's going to help you. I'm a media artist, and I totally value all the drawing that I've done. We would like to see a self-portrait, a still life, an interior space, and a landscape. They can be multiple media. And then most importantly, your personal creative work. That's going to set you apart from any other portfolios that we see. Now, there are many ways to connect. You can request information. You can see our artists on all sorts of platforms. That goes without saying. I would say look us up, schedule a virtual visit. We have several coming up, you know, ones that are already on the calendar, but I'm also willing to set up a personal appointment with you. We are doing some Saturday appointments as well. So we are going to give tours of campus if that's something that you really, really want to do. We have limited opportunity just to keep everybody safe. We're requesting all the safety measures. So please, you know, think about those things. Contact me earlier than later, and we'll try to get you on campus as well. And finally, come to National Portfolio Day. Carrie mentioned it. It is such an amazing opportunity for you. It's virtual this year, so yes, you know, the secret is you can probably go to more than one, but definitely go to at least one so that you can get your portfolio reviewed by a few different schools. All right, thank you.
Penny,
Right.
you want to talk to us about Columbia?
Yes. So thank you. Once again, I'm Penny Rasick. I'm Assistant Director of Columbia College Chicago. We are a liberal arts school, but we're also an arts college. And the reason that I say we're both is that all of our majors and programs are in the arts. We have fine arts programs, fine art and design. We have media arts programs. We have communications, performing arts, and business. In all, it's about 60 majors and programs. We have several minors as well. So if you are interested in more than one thing, it's possible to do a variety of things at Columbia. Our campus is located in the South Loop of downtown Chicago. If you're not familiar, that is a neighborhood that's very touristy. It's within walking distance of all of our major museums, fine art galleries, theaters, music venues, restaurants, nightlife, and cultural life. We're sort of nestled in the heart of it all. Walking distance to the lake, walking distance to Grant Park. And we're also in an area of downtown Chicago where a lot of other students live and attend school. We have DePaul University that's not too far from us, Roosevelt University, the School of the Art Institute in Chicago, East West, and many more. In total, it's about 50,000 students that live and attend college in that neighborhood. So it's a very vibrant area. We, as Columbia, make up about 20 buildings and spaces of the downtown South Loop neighborhood. We have residence halls as well as academic buildings. So we have about 4 residence halls and about 16 academic buildings. We just also, I'm very proud to say, built a state-of-the-art, from the ground up student center. It's 5 stories. It is completely dedicated to entertainment, to creativity, to work and play. So that is kind of the anchor of our entire campus. 7,000 students make up Columbia College. Most of those students are undergraduate. We have a very small graduate program that's about 350 students. Our average class size is pretty small. It's 15 to 18 students, so you get a lot of one-on-one attention from our full-time and part-time faculty. And so speaking of faculty, most of our full-time and part-time faculty are actually working in their field in Chicago as well as teaching. So it's not uncommon for faculty to come right from a film set or a television studio or a gallery or a theater or the office to your classrooms to share their network connections, their knowledge. And students are able to leverage that relationship to get internships and possibly full-time employment after graduation. We also focus very strongly on business and entrepreneurship at Columbia. It is something that you can minor in or major in, but it's also a part of our gen ed curriculum. We know that it's important for you to be developed as an artist. We want you to foster that creative practice and artistic growth, but we also want you to understand the business side of what you're going into. It's important for you to be able to navigate both in order to be successful. We have a career center that focuses on creative industry, and our goal is for students to go to the career center and meet with career advisors that are specialists in your particular major, so that you can work on getting paid work, paid internship work, or volunteer internship work. So by the time you graduate from Columbia, you already have a resume that's relevant to the work that you do, that's relevant to your major, so that you can really hit the ground running once you graduate. We also are offering a new 5-year BA to MA program, so that by the time you're done with your bachelor's, you can also stay just an extra year at Columbia and graduate with an MA. The majors in the MA to or BA to MA program are still yet to be announced. So if you are interested in that, you're welcome to send me an email, and I'm happy to explain that more. We offer merit, need, and talent scholarships as well. So if you're not sure if we're a good fit for you financially, I strongly recommend that you still apply, and then we will send you an award letter that will detail everything that you qualify for through FAFSA, as well as all of our institutional scholarships. So that's just a little bit about Columbia. Now I'm going to talk to you about some performing arts audition tips. So a little background about me. I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Theater, and so if you're interested in a performing arts program like music, dance, or theater, I have been in your shoes. I know what it's like to prepare for an audition, be super nervous about an audition, and you know, kind of wonder if you are what they're looking for, or if you're doing the thing that they want to see. So I just want to tell you, just relax and just know that the auditors for whatever program that you audition for, whether it's at Columbia or another performing arts college, the auditors want you to be yourself. They want you to just know that that they want you to do your best work and do the work that you can do at this moment in time. So know that we're not expecting you to already be professionally polished. That's what you're going to college for. So we want you to really just be yourself and be present and listen. So here's some bullet points. Make sure that you are early and that you come to the venue that you're auditioning in, or if it's online, if you're doing a Zoom audition this year, make sure that you're already warmed up. Warm up your body, warm up your voice, make sure that you've rehearsed over and over. Like Carrie said earlier, get feedback prior to your audition. That's really important. So practice, 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 but right before that audition, make sure that before you turn on your Zoom call or before you enter an audition space, that you are warmed up and ready to go. For dancers, be aware of your body in the space that you're in, whether it's on camera or whether it's in person. Make sure you're not bumping into other dancers or bumping into the space around you. Really make sure that you can demonstrate that you have control, but you're also able to dance and to do a piece of choreography and keep control of your body relative to the people around you. When you're introducing yourself, make sure you take your time. It's important to very clearly say your name and then give a beat so that your auditors can write it down. They are most likely taking notes, and so you want to say, "I'm Penny Rasick," and then just give a moment before you jump in. That also helps you to kind of compose and maybe get into character if you're about to do a monologue, or it helps you to get into the moment when you're about to prepare a piece of or perform a piece of music or to do a piece of choreography. Be enthusiastic, embrace direction, be willing and open to take risks, showcase yourself, but be professional and get outside of your head. Remember to listen. All of those bullet points that I just very quickly went through are really important when you're thinking about how to conduct yourself. We want you to be yourself, but be professional. We want you to be yourself, but make sure that you're being positive and you're showing enthusiasm, because the auditors want to make sure that you're a good fit for the program and that the program is a good fit for you, most importantly. So we want to know that you're happy to be there and that you're excited about what you're doing. And get outside your head. Sometimes when you're nervous, you can sort of, you know, the universal you can kind of take the energy inward, and you want to make sure that you're able to express yourself and listen to feedback as it comes to you, and that you are present instead of maybe having that criticism little devil on your shoulder telling you what you're doing wrong. Just get rid of that and just try to listen and be present in the moment. Make sure that you dress appropriately. I've heard from auditors that students who wear costumes, that's just not very professional. It's also very distracting. So you want to make sure that you are wearing neutral clothing. If you're female identifying, maybe you choose a black dress and some pumps or flats, not like super high heels, please, because it scares auditors. They're worried about your safety, that you might trip and fall. For men, or male identifying, make sure that you're wearing something neutral. You know, don't wear anything that is too distracting or something that's going to take you outside of what you're performing. If you are practicing or presenting music, make sure that you put your music in an organized binder, a hard binder with 3 rings. Make sure that there is a clearly marked stopping and starting point so that the accompanist knows exactly where to start, where to stop. You would think that that is pretty, that's just common sense, but it is something that a lot of students forget about, and they often bring sheet music that is not put into one place or secured, and the sheet music ends up flying all over the place. You don't want that to happen during an audition. And most importantly, just be kind and smile and say thank you. It really means a lot if you can express that you are happy that you were able to share your time with the auditors, and just express your gratitude for that. That means a lot. Next slide. So for video submission, really make sure that you're paying attention to the location, because for a video submission, you are choosing the location. If you're able to, if you have access to a stage or a studio, a dance studio or a classroom, that's ideal. It gives you the space that you need, and it gives you really an undistracting background. But we understand that there is a lot of you know, obstacles and barriers when it comes to access right now due to COVID. I don't know what your restrictions might be where your area is. So if you are stuck at home and you have no other choice than to perform your work in your bedroom, just make sure that your camera is facing a blank wall if you're able to, or that your space behind you is clean and neat, and there's no unmade bed or dirty socks on the floor that's visible. So just make sure that you clean up your space. Make sure that everything is well lit as well. You may want to bring in some extra lamps into your bedroom so that you have some extra light. That's always really helpful, because you know, typically you may, if you're in your bedroom, you may be in a dark space. So brighten it up by bringing in some extra light. Speak your slate or your introduction for each video. So if you are going to be submitting a separate video for dance, a separate video for music, and a separate video for monologues, and this is especially true for musical theater students, make sure that you say your name very clearly, first and last name, for each piece. If you're planning to do a continuous piece, if you have contrasting music or contrasting dance styles, and you're planning to just do one long video, then you only need to say it once, unless the school has something specific they'd like. Make sure before you submit your videos that you double check the sound quality and the lighting. If you feel like you're dark or the sound is not the best quality, just do it over again and film it again. Don't be afraid to take a couple of tries before you're ready to submit. Make sure that the file that you submit is correct and in the correct format, and then submit before the deadline. Don't wait until 5 minutes before the deadline, the night of the final countdown. Make sure that you give yourself few-day buffer just in case there's some technical issues. Just keep in mind that most students will procrastinate, and so it's not uncommon for a school to experience some technical overload if hundreds of thousands of students are all submitting at the same time. So you want to make sure you give yourself some time so that you don't need to frantically call the admissions office and ask for an extension. So I hope that this information is helpful for you. Overall, it is important to do your research. Make sure that you look at each school that you're applying to and make sure that you understand the style of each school's particular art form, and really think about when you are auditioning, think about your audience. Make sure that you understand what their school does, what they might be looking for. Here's some information about applying to Columbia. I am also doing an information session through WCAC. So if you would like to attend my information session, it's September 3rd at 4 o'clock. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Penny. Thanks, everyone. I have one more screen to share with you, and then we will say goodbye to everybody. So thanks everyone for joining the session today. You'll get a quick survey right after we end the session today, or right after you leave the session today. You can sign up for more sessions or view this recording or other recordings at wacac.com. Again, thanks to all of our presenters. It was lovely to hear from all of you, and have a great night, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.